Please join me in welcoming Julien Billot. Monsieur Billot.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be there, so please excuse my little French accent. You understand where it's coming from. So basically, as you can understand, we are, as Yellow Pages, the incumbent Yellow Pages in Canada. And so basically, we have to recognize that we didn't do in the past a very good job to transform ourselves, to really fill the needs of digital SMBs. And so what I'm trying to tell you now is, well, we want to change. We want to transform ourselves to better serve the needs of local companies in Canada. So that will be my story today. Basically, if you look at Yellow Pages in Canada, you have some figures on the slide. What's very important to recognize is we have two different, I would say, businesses. One, obviously, is we are a sales agency. We want to sell advertising to local companies. And we really want to have an advertising agency to small companies. But on the other side, and that's going to be different from what you see in the US, we're also a media group. And that's very important because we thrive to really create the right audience we need for our customers. And basically on the market, we really behave as a marketplace of relationship, of local relationship between small companies and local audience. And it's very important to recognize that kind of business. So if you look at that business, actually you could say we have interesting figures. Please keep in mind that Canada is roughly 1/8, 1/9 of the US in terms of population. 30 million people in Canada, 60 million in France, more than 200 something in the US. So basically all the figures have to look at that, but as a marketplace, we have almost 49, we are at 50% basically digital revenues. We generate $400 million, so it's Canadian dollars, digital revenue per year on the Canadian market. It's a lot of money. It's more than anybody else in Canada except Google. So it's a lot of money. On the other side, on the media side, we are in the top 15, top 12, top 15 web properties and digital properties in Canada. We roughly deliver 100 million visits on our different digital properties per quarter. There I'm just talking about our digital property, our owned and operated digital properties. And we, of course, on the balance sheet side, we have a substantial deleveraging last year, and we continue to do that. Perhaps important figure to note, we have 25% of Canadian small businesses which are customers to Yellow Pages. So you would say in that marketplace, we have a very good position, good transition to digital business, 50% of our revenue, 25% market share in the small business market in Canada. Obviously, and that's why transformation is far from finished, we are far away to have accomplished our total transformation. We have a lot of issues remaining, and that's why I'm saying we didn't do a great job in the past to serve really well our customers, because we were at one point of time at 400,000 customers. There's 1.2 million SMBs in Canada, so we are now down to 265,000 as of Q2. So we have a declining customer base, meaning we don't serve correctly our customers and they are leaving us. We still have 90% of our customers, we still have print products. So 50% of our revenues are digital, but 90% of our customers still have one or multiple print products. And basically our digital growth is largely linked to print migration. So I can say in front of you, we never really built a standalone digital business. And so we are fueling our digital growth by transferring print to digital. Of course, doing that we lose revenues, but we don't have a strong standalone digital business, and that's typically what we are going to fight for and create for the future. And the decline was quite strong, meaning if you look at the figures from the past, our revenues are 2 times lower than in 2008, EBITDA 3 times lower than in 2008. And one of the big reasons we were not able to catch up so fast in the migration is the last sentence saying that we did a lot of studies regarding our non-advertisers. Why, as a local SMB in Canada, you don't want to be a customer for Yellow Pages? And basically, 50% of non-advertisers say, we don't want to be advertising in your property because we do not believe you are a credible digital supplier. We don't feel you have a credible digital brand. And our customers, your users, are not using your platforms. So it's a very strong statement from a customer. What that's saying basically is, okay, on the print side, you are very strong, you are very efficient, but on the digital side, we don't trust you. Meaning some of them say, of course, obviously some of them believe we are a strong digital company and we have strong media assets. But a lot of non-advertisers say we don't trust you as a brand and digital media. So what we can say is the way we're driving the business in the past cannot be the way we have to drive business in the future. So basically we are really positioning ourselves as 3 phases in terms of transformation. The first one was conducted under Marc Tellier leadership. Was really a first phase of digital transformation where we built strong platforms, much better capital structure, and really put the foundation to be able to transform the company. Now we are what we call a second phase, 2014, we call it up to 2018, where we want really to build a standalone digital business. As I said, we didn't have a standalone digital business, have a digital business linked to print. We really want to have a digital business with its own growth, not dependent of print decline on the side. So that's really what we want to achieve. I will try to explain you how we want to do that. And of course, after that, if we're successful, we can have another phase, we call it beyond, to accelerate our growth and perhaps going to different businesses, different type of businesses. But the second phase, the phase we are in, which is called return to growth, is basically based on how to create a real sustainable business on digital based mainly on advertising. So the way we describe this is as a wheel with the brand in the center, and we come back to all these elements with a strong work to be done on media, of course on the customer side, go-to-market, on the employee side, and on business efficiencies. The way we present our plan is always this way, because we clearly think all the different pillars of the plan has to be interlocked each other. Meaning we talk about the brand because, and I'm going to come back to that, for our customers, for people, brand is very, very important. They will not change this company if we don't change the perception of the brand. Obviously, the media side is very important. As I said, we're not a sales agency. We're not a sales group. We are a sales group, but we are a media group at the same time. And the combination of both of them is creating our major strength. So we need to really develop our media and be much stronger in the media business than we are today. Obviously, on the sales side, I will speak a lot about this. And the employee side, we need to change a lot the way our employees are behaving to be able to transform this company. So I'll try to explain you the major topics behind all these different assets. The first thing really at the core of our transformation and the core of the way we can deal with the local market is the brand. As I said, for most of people in Canada, Yellow Pages brand is very linked to print. And we want to change that. We want to change that because if people does not perceive us as a digital supplier, there's no reason they can accept our sales organization to come to them and to propose them different solutions. So we need to have a digital trusted brand. And to do that, of course, we have to prove it, but we have also to say it. And the reality is we never invested advertising for years and years in Canada. And now we are entering in a phase where we're going to invest a lot of money in advertising for the coming 4 years because we'll spend $25 million, Canadian dollars, per year on advertising between 2014 and 2018. To do this, we'll do a mix between global advertising campaign, mainly television and internet, and very local campaign. This is an example of advertising in Toronto. So it's really saying that thanks to the YP application, you can find businesses all around you in your neighborhood. So typically, all our advertising was really made to talk about the YP app, and I'll talk a bit about this later, and basically promoting all content around the neighborhood. We want to say to people, YP is not only for emergency. Of course, everybody knows if you want a physician, you want a plumber, you can go to YP. But you can go to YP for a lot of different reasons all around your neighborhood, and we want people to know it. The good thing is we have a lot of things to do to say that. We have very good early results. We have a fairly good number of downloads and traffic coming in the application, which was very good. But we still have a long way to go. You have to know that even if 80% of Canadian people know we have a website, only 40% of them know we have a mobile app. So still a long way to go before changing perception and changing reality on our brand. To do that also we launched specific events, and I want to spend some minutes about this because it's very linked to the positioning we want to have close to local companies. We launched an event last year in Toronto called Shop the Neighborhood. Shop the Neighborhood is a day, it's between the Black Friday in the US and Cyber Monday, so it's a Saturday, end of November, where we help people and we incentivize people to shop locally. So we create an event locally with shops. We also create an event on user side to incentivize people instead of going to the US, sorry about this, but to shop locally in their neighborhood in the major Canadian markets. So we did that in Toronto last year. It has tremendous success. And we're going to do that the 29th of November in Canada across 5 major cities, Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa, to really demonstrate that we can bring a lot of relevance and traffic to small companies by incentivizing people to do retail close to the neighborhood. So investing in media is very key because we really want to show to the local market that we can be on their side, in their neighborhood, and we are the only player, which is the local player in Canada, and really want to do it. On the media side, obviously, it's very complementary to what we are doing to the brand. On the media side, we really want to change perception and traffic because you have to think that creating a media business is very important in both ways. When you grow up the audience on your media, you have 2 different objectives. One is perception. It's very important that because small SMEs behave as real users, It's very important that they behave how media will bring them the relevant number of users they need for their business. So there's a perception issue. But there's also a real return on investment issue. The more we have traffic coming from our media, the less traffic we have to buy from Google or other players to sustain the return on investment of the advertising we sell to advertisers. So it's very important. Today we do $400 million business in digital in Canada. More than 300 million of them are coming from what we call owned and operated properties. When we don't buy traffic, we just generate traffic on our own and operated media. And that's very important for our long-term profitability. Our plan there in media is basically to be closer to advertiser needs and user needs. So of course, it's revamping yp.ca. We rename our major property yellowpages.ca to yp.ca. Our YP app, we completely revamped the user experience. We added a lot of content. We are spending this year $4 million in terms of content to improve the content we put in our media. That means more local content, more neighborhood story, more content on different merchant pages, opening hours, website, Facebook pages. But on the other side, we also recognize that YP cannot cover all the territory of queries. And so we are going to create new vertical properties. That's just code name, that's not the final names, but before the end of the year, we'll launch at least 2 or 3 vertical properties dedicated on mobile first, and then some others in 2015. That's very important because we want to target different segments of customers. I will come back to that. And to target these segments, we need to have different usages, different media to cover audiences. So typically, we have very low penetration in Canada regarding restaurants. Less than 5, we have 25% on total SMEs, but only 5% in the restaurant space. So we're going to launch an app dedicated to food and restaurants to really target new users and also to target new advertisers. Same thing for retail with Shop, same thing for going out with Play, same thing with real estate on Move. So media are really core at our strategy because we really think by changing media, improving the media, and working on the brand, we can really drive more users, change perception, and of course have more return on investment and protect our long-term profitability. So now let's go to the customer side, the go-to-market side. Of course, it's very important because, as I said, we didn't do a good job in the past to really fill the customer needs, and we need to adjust to that. First of all, and that's a figure the industry is never really talking about, but it's a sad reality, because everybody says our business of Yellow Pages is declining because of print. Well, that's not only because of print. It's also because the industry have lost customers in the past years. If you look at the example of Yellow Pages in Canada, actually, we lost roughly 7.7% of our customer count every year up to 2010, and our revenues declined by 10% since 2010. So more or less, our revenues declined the same way or same path on our customer base. And that's very new because historically the industry said, okay, we don't really care about customers. What's really important is profitability because we have a lot of debt to pay back. So profitability is key. So we'll care first about profitability, then we'll care about revenues and customers. Our plan is exactly to do the reverse. We had the chance to have shareholders supporting our effort on that with our financial restructuring last year. So our plan is really to go to customer first, then revenues, then profitability at the end. So the plan we are aiming for is really how to rebuild the customer base. And the first thing to rebuild the customer base is how to change acquisition. Basically, our acquisition level went down over time. At the moment in 2013, our acquisition level was down to 9,000 in average on a yearly basis. So we did a lot of effort to really keep up on that figures and ramping up acquisition. So you have the figures in 2014, end of Q2. We are really aiming for 20,000 at the end of 2014, which will be quite spectacular compared to 15,000 at the end of 2013, but we're aiming for 30,000 at the end of 2015. So we want really to ramp up our acquisition effort up to 40 to 60,000 new customers a year. That's very important, the KPI, to understand our business, because growing acquisition is acting on very deep-rooted things in the organization. First of all, it's really evolving and changing the culture of the organization, the sales culture of the organization. The culture in Yellow Pages was very farming. So it's really to change the culture. Of course, keep the farming thing, but really drive different teams, or even the major face-to-face teams, to more hunting. That's very important. The second important thing is really that acquiring new customers means going out of our traditional target. And the Yellow Pages industry was very strong in the service industry. Plumbers, physicians, lawyers, heating system, all the people not having really a shop main street, and they needed Yellow Pages to say, hey, I'm existing. We need to change that, and we need to go to different segments who are not very strong. So going on acquisition, I will not describe all the plans we have, but going more aggressively on acquisition is also driving the company to different segments, different type of offers, much more click-based offers, leads-based offers, much less placement-based offers. So going out basically of our historical print business and basically go more deeper into what people want, our customers want, which is more leads generation offers and dedicated offers to their segments. So for us, it's a very important KPI. We're going to spend a lot of energy to ramp up these figures and to fight for digital-only customers and basically new customers that are not today in our existing customer base. The second important thing, obviously, is retention. We need to keep customers. Historically, we were, I would say, good at that. We are keeping 85% of our customers every year. In reality, it's mainly linked to print. If you look at our digital churn rate is much higher than print. So we need to really improve the way we deal with customers. We still have a bad customer experience somehow, and we want to change that. We want really to have a much better customer experience to our customers, and we have a lot of programs, more self-serve, more clear billing. Seems to be very simple things, but we need to do them because we were not at where we wanted to be on this one. So focus, of course, on the acquisition on one side, focus on retention on the other side. Everything put together, we want to have a stable customer base by 2016, 2017, and a growing customer base by 2017. I think the customer base of Yellow Pages in Canada never grew since 2008, something like this. So coming up is a long effort, but it's something we definitely need to do to hope ramping up our business later. On the employee side, it's obviously very important because part of the issues we had is not being a customer-centric organization. And being a customer-centric organization means also change the culture, change the way our employees are behaving. So we are doing a lot of things. First of all, we are hiring a lot of people. We hired more than 200 people last year. We have 3,000 people, so it's a strong effort for our company, mainly in IT and digital media. And we're going to add more than 200 new positions this year in 2014 in the same type of people, IT and digital media. It's very important because if we want to behave as a digital company, to really talk digital to our people, we need to have the right talents and the right people. That has a lot of cultural difference in the company. For example, we were located in Toronto in a place where young people don't want to go because it's not a nice neighborhood, no subway, no real public transportation. So we're going to move our location in a place more downtown where we can attract young people. I have the CEO of Mediative in this room, Darby Sieben, who typically is located in Toronto in a much nicer place, but it proved very important to acquire new talents and people who really want to work in digital environment. So we had to build this digital culture throughout the organization. On the sales side, for example, we changed 70% of the sales force since 2008. And it's not finished, meaning we now have some people to change, we have some people to move, some management to change, but we needed to change all these people because we wanted to move from the print days to digital days and to have a really strong sales force, really able to talk digital to our customers. And then finally in our transformation, I want just to spend some minutes about business efficiencies. Business efficiency that can be strange when you talk about customers, but the reality in our situation is we have really a win-win situation when you talk about business efficiencies because most of our business efficiencies, of course, are costing us money, but they are not helping us to really serve well the customers. In the past, we had a lot of fulfillment issues. We had a lot of typically video that we sold to customers. It was difficult for us to put them online because of processes. Obviously, that was bad for our financial, but that's also very bad for customer experience because the most videos we sold, we're not able to publish them. So basically, the way I see this business efficiencies and streamlining operations, it's really a win-win situation. A situation where we can save money, but also a situation where we can greatly improve the way we serve customers and be much more aligned with what other companies in the digital space are doing today. We consider ourselves far away the normal way of working that we should have in digital. So typically, we do a lot, even on the print side, by consolidating legacy print system. We had a lot of, even in print, a lot of improvement to do on distribution. We did a lot of improving our back office. To give you an example, we had more than 18 data centers, which make no sense for a company in our size. So we are now down to 2 data centers. A lot of different things that we are a much stronger infrastructure that allows us to have the right application, the right answering time for people, and the right ability for customer-facing people to really work. So really, the way to see all these business efficiencies, because most of them are really in the customer-facing teams, it's really to save costs, but also to greatly improve the way we deal with customers. So in a nutshell, that's how we want to drive our transformation. As you see, it's not really transformation, it's more resetting completely the organization because it's changing the brand, changing the way or at least improving a lot the media as we have them, really refocusing the company mainly on digital space, mainly on acquisition, focus much more on customer care, customer journey than we did in the past, and focus more and more streamlining operation, also through IT investment, to be sure that we will deliver on time. So, as a conclusion, before answering to question, if we are successful, which I hope, what success will look like for us, perhaps the most important will be the first one. Today, our brand is very much associated with print. Tomorrow, we have to have our brand associated with real digital media. If we can do that, mainly all the rest will deliver, because if our customers, local companies in Canada, consider we are a real digital trusted supplier, they can go to us. If our salespeople really behave, we have a brand associated with digital media, they are much more confident to sell it. So it's very linked to that. Then obviously, we have some financial targets, almost no debt in 2018, EBITDA margin still at the 30 to 35%. We should have a growing customer base. That will be a huge indicator that we're able to attract different type of customers, not only the customers we have today, and aiming to have a digital business still growing fast as we have today. Well, fast depend comparing to others, but we have still a digital business growing around 10% year on year, and we want to maintain as much as possible this level. That will not be possible just by relying on print migration. It's really dependent on our acquisition efforts, growing customer base, and of course changing the brand. So hopefully, so I don't know if you invite me in 2018, but if I'm in 2018, I could say you will see if Yellow Pages will be a faster, leaner digital company, and we hope to be still, because we are in a leadership position, but we want to be still in a leadership position in digital services for Canada's local businesses. Okay, I want to thank you for that presentation. It's been a pleasure. So now I think we'll have still some time for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Join me here. Thank you. A lot of information there.
A lot. I'm talking fast.
So changing the perception of a brand is difficult and expensive. Talk about the process of deciding to continue to invest in Yellow brand versus throwing it out and building another one.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough decision. We had a lot of discussion in France also regarding the Yellow Pages brand. Basically, when you talk to customers and users, that's the best way to have an answer. They say, basically, Yellow Pages is the major reason why customers open their door today and the major reason why they don't sign with us. So it's a difficult choice, because obviously letting go the Yellow Pages brand means you lose your main argument to talk to small companies. But obviously you cannot let the brand in the situation it is today, because if you let the brand in the situation it is today, it's a handicap and no more an asset. So it's fair also to say that in the assessment, this company never invested in advertising for years and years because of the financial difficulties. So we spent, I think, around $2 million in 2012, $6 million in 2013, so not real money. Mm-hmm. So what we decided with the board is really give a chance to the Yellow Pages brand by investing money just to say we are a digital brand now, mm-hmm. or will be a digital brand. We are no more only a print brand. So that's a significant amount of money, but the cost of doing that and the risk is much less than creating a new brand. We had example in the UK, for example, with the Hebrew brand, which changed to Yell, changed to Hebrew, and others. Yeah. Well, it was very difficult. It cost a lot of money, and it's a big, big bet. So we prefer to stick to Yellow Pages and invest in the Yellow Pages brand.
Okay. Now, sales is a big topic of conversation this afternoon. You said you changed over 70% of your sales organization. Did you also change over 70% of your sales leadership? I mean, is it proportional there? I mean,
it's more 100% of the sales leadership. No, what happened basically, it was a decision made by the previous management, but they had a new sales vice president, Doug Clark, in 2010, coming from Trader, and he completely revamped the organization. It's not completely finished, and it was important because, meaning the major sales guys were print guys, and they were doing a lot of money on print, but they never sold digital. So we had places, Quebec, Ontario, where we never sold digital. We're just selling print, and so we are declining. And we need to completely change the profile. And also, as I said, now we are in another process where we want to have more hunters and less farmers, which we had in the past. So it's ongoing.
Sure.
At the end of the day, we change 100% of the team over the next.
And could you describe very briefly who is a salesperson for you today versus the past was obviously an old line print rep, but who sells for you today?
You know, the salespeople today are really people focusing about the customer account. In the past, if you think about print, when you go to print, you see your customer one time a year. No more, because you print a book one time a year. Now you need to talk to your customer every month or every 2 months. You need to give feedback about traffic. You need to really know the activity of people to propose them different solutions. For example, if you talk about florists, you need to find a specific solution for them in February, for Valentine's Day, or whether. Well, in print, meaning if you go to print in August, you will never sell a plant in February. So that's really changing the way, because you need to keep a lot of interest about what your customers are and really manage your customers, manage customer journey. And it's a very different way. So today, our best sales representative meet with customers 6 times, 10 times a year. And they spend 2 hours on each of the meetings. In the past, meaning as we were a monopoly, it was just, you want to be on the print, please sign. And that was over for the year. So completely different profile and very different way of working.
And the cost aspects of that kind of sales approach are very different as well. Do you feel a lot of pressure to move more into telesales and more into some sort of automated, maybe at the lower spend level? I mean, what sort of thinking have you done there?
So we have a lot of telesales, and we have more and more in the future. But it's also fair to say one of the big advantages of the Yellow Pages business is we have 1,000 people in Canada, but our cost of sales is only 15 to 16% of our total revenues. So we're able to maintain 700 people on the field, and we're able to pay them well, but we're able to make them very profitable. So as soon as we are able, when we're able to do this for a lot of time, we still maintain this policy, which is to have a lot of people on the field dealing with the best customers because need to talk with them, but also more and more people on the phone for 2 different things, actually. One, to acquire customers low end, but also to deal with customers and their customer journey, meaning the time where when a sales guy owns the relationship only by himself is finished. Now we are on a multi-touch point relationship. We can have a sales by somebody and then upsell by somebody else on the phone or physically or by self-serve. So we are really building customer journey across platforms, leveraging telesales, leveraging on-the-field sales, leveraging self-service to be sure to have an ongoing conversation with our customers.
Okay. Actually, we have time for just one last question, and I wanted to ask you about the product side. You need a lot more digital-only customers. Customers who only buy a digital product set from you. Do you feel that you're at the stage now where you have a digital-only proposition that's state-of-the-art for Canada?
I would say not yet.
Okay.
We try to have it. Basically, the big change in our business is historically, as Yellow Pages, we sold the media. We sold placement. We sold pixel in our properties or inches in our print properties. Tomorrow, we will sell the result of the media. So we'll sell leads, contacts, calls, and no more pixel. And that's the big change, because basically when you talk to restaurant doesn't care about the pixel you sell them. They have their own shop or their own window to advertise where they are. What they need is bookings. They need to have customers in off-peak hours. And so they want to fight for leads. And so basically the switch we are doing on our offer is switching from a placement-based products to leads-based products. And basically that's why investing in our media is so important, because today we sell leads-based products. It's SEM from Google, which is good, customers want it, but it's bad in terms of margin. So longer term, obviously we still sell Google, but we want to repackage into this bundle some of our own traffic to be able to generate more margin. Okay. So we really see our business as more leads generation business longer term, leads, clicks, calls, bookings, quotation, all this type of thing, and we leverage our media to deliver more leads as a fixed cost.
Okay. All right. Unfortunately, we have to end it there. Please join me in thanking Julien Billot.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.